I'm Emily, and I am your teacher for the purposes of this YouTube channel, A Journey in Miracles on A Course in Miracles. Thank you so much for being with me. I feel you, I'm grateful for you, and I'm really excited to be on this journey with you. So when it comes to studying the Course in Miracles, there's two pieces to the puzzle. There's the workbook, and the workbook is 365 daily lessons. The commitment that's asked of you is 1 year, and that you do one lesson a day. You can stretch a lesson over multiple days if you feel like you want to be with the concept longer, but you're never to do more than one lesson in a day. I'm posting those videos, and you'll find them on the playlist of the Course in Miracles workbook. Along with that, there's also the text. So the workbook is about retraining your mind. It's about healing your mind. And so those daily lessons are about healing your mind, you're practicing. But it doesn't mean a lot without the second piece, which is the text. And the text really tells us why we're doing this. What's the purpose of it? What is the nature of reality? Why are we here? How did we get here? Why is there so much suffering around us? I mean, it really lays things out in a very matter-of-fact, straightforward tone that I dig. I'm a very direct person and I love it. I'm a universalist. I've studied a lot of different faiths and religions because I feel like there's more truth. If you combine them all, it kind of feels like a splintered truth to me. And I'm actually ordained reverend in Universalism. And in my journeys and travels, I came across A Course in Miracles. And it really is sort of the synthesis. It really brings everything together. And I'm so grateful for that. You can be any faith and study this text, but it really gives you this goal post, which is that you basically have a split mind. And why we see, people will say, how can this world exist when there's a loving God? How could a loving God made this world? It's a very common question, especially if you travel in any spiritual or religious circles. It's usually the first question that people have. And one reason they're really not into spirituality or the God concept, how could a loving God have created this world? And what I love about this book is it says he couldn't have. You're right, that's not logical. Everything in this thought process is very logical, and that really works well with my mind because I have a very logical mind and I think it should make sense. But basically, I'll tell you, God didn't create this world. He wouldn't. If he did, you're right, he would be a very sort of capricious, mean, vindictive deity. You can't have both. And so the idea laid out here is that either God created this world, right? You basically have three options. God created the world. We're here by accident. Or we created this world. And that third option is one we don't really look at. We usually stay on those first two options. And when that first came to me, I was like, that would make so much more sense. We're told we're created in God's image. God is a creator. Maybe we've greatly underestimated our ability to create. So the whole foundation of this concept is that we created this world sort of by accident. And it'll tell you, it doesn't, we'll get into that later. But that essentially we split our mind. And so you have this piece of your mind that's spiritual and whole and healthy and connected to everyone in oneness and, knows its creator and knows God and knows truth. And then we have this split off piece that we created, which is sort of split off in a body. And that would be really what we call in psychology our conscious mind. And that's, I think I'm Emily and I was born in 1980 and I'm from America and all these things, I look like this, this is me. And this piece of my mind believes that this is me and all there is to me. And that is basically the source of suffering. So everyone has that little piece. And what this is doing is trying to heal the mind and sort of bring them back together. Because the idea is this little piece of mind that's broken off is much more powerful than it realizes. It believes that it's not powerful. It believes it's this little person that's going to die. But it's so powerful that it's literally creating an entire reality. And unfortunately, because I'm broken off from my source, which is love, I experience a lot of fear and a lot of guilt about that. Maybe God's mad at me because I did that. And I feel very alone and afraid. And this is at a very deep level, right? So you might say to me, I don't feel alone and afraid. I don't feel guilty. That's totally possible. This is very deep-seated belief stuff we'll get into studying. But essentially, I'm projecting that outwards, and it's creating a world that has a lot of suffering and it has a lot of death. So really our main problems are this little piece of broken off mind, fear, and guilt. And that's why the forgiveness piece becomes so big in this course as we dig into it. But this is really about healing that and moving away from guilt, shame, and fear but totally with this loving mercy, kindness of understanding. You can't really do that on your own. So how do we get there? What tools did God give us to sort of get home and to heal? And any path, any religion, anything that you believe, as I said, you can believe whatever you want and still study this course. All paths lead to God. The book says that, the text says that, and it's so important to say that. But the purpose of this text is to save time. And it will also say that you will save a lot of time and a lot of suffering by sort of following this course. And it's fascinating. And what's so cool is we save more time when we do it together. You can't do it alone, since, as I said before, sort of being splintered off and alone is what's creating the problem. We actually have a deep soul need to be connected and know each other, and for our minds to be connected. And really, the healthy piece of my mind knows they already are. So I don't want to dig too deep. We'll get into more concepts later, but I just wanted to give a little introduction that what we're doing here, we're going to start to study the text together. I'm so excited. We're going to do it in my fashion and how I feel inspired to. I don't read it from front to back. I do little sections, so I'll name the little section I'm reading and teaching on that day. And we'll start to dig into it, because I think there's a certain way to go about it where it sort of pulls you in and reveals itself in a different way. There are some important concepts in the beginning that will land, but I'm going to go ahead today, as this is my little intro, and also read the introduction from the book. I've used my book so much it fell out. And it's very short. What's great about the text is it's simple, it's brief, but it's impactful. So feel free to be with these words as much as you want. Obviously, I really recommend you get a copy of the book. I open it and read it every day, and it continues to grow with me. So here's the introduction to the Course in Miracles. This is a Course in Miracles. It is a required course. Only the time you take it is voluntary. Free will does not mean that you can establish the curriculum. It means only that you can elect what you want to take at a given time. The Course does not aim at teaching the meaning of love, for that is beyond what can be taught. It does aim, however, at removing the blocks to the awareness of love's presence, which is your natural inheritance. Isn't that exciting? The opposite of love is fear, but what is all-encompassing can have no opposite. So it's saying love is all-encompassing. So we're surrounded by love. It's really all there is. We're just sort of making something up fear. And as soon as we stop doing that, we'll begin, like, as we unlearn what we've learned about fear, love will continue to be revealed in everything. It's the most beautiful journey. That's all I can say. And again, I don't know if I've said it, but I'm so excited you're here with me. This course can therefore be summed up very simply in this way. Nothing real can be threatened. Nothing unreal exists. Herein lies the peace of God. I love that. I'm going to read it again. It's so important. Nothing real can be threatened. Nothing unreal exists. Herein lies the peace of God. So in other words, everything that's real can't be threatened, can't die, can't go away, can't be damaged. And nothing that's unreal exists. And so I know that might leave some questions, like I see death and destruction around me. So we'll get there. But have peace today in knowing that what's real, what you love in the people around you, what you feel inside your soul, like what is real, we can't really see yet, but we're going to get there together. But it can't be threatened. It's always there. It's eternal. And so there really is no reason to fear. But we've got a few barriers to get through before we really get that. So again, thank you so much for being on this journey with me. I'm very excited to go through the text with you. Please continue with your workbook lessons. If you haven't started them, go ahead and kick off at number 1. You can kick off any day. If you've put them down, pick it back up. Just move with it. And we're here to do this together. Let us carry each other through. I love you. Be blessed. Know you're not alone. You're loved. And there's so much hope for a brighter day. And we are going to create it together. Love you.